on YouTube and Instagram. Just waiting for them to load up. Looks like here we go. And here we go. All right. We're good. We're good. We're live. We're live. So this was an old drawing I done back in 2002. It was either a commission or something I drew and then ended up selling on eBay back in the turn of the millennium, like 98 to 2002. I was like doing a lot of commissions, short comic book story pages, all through eBay. It was hot like that. So I just pulled this out, 1x17, the original pencils, dropped it into a 13x19 template and did 10% opacity and printed it out. And last night I was able to do some inking. I'm going to continue doing some noodle inking. Also, one of the fans, one of the supporters of CROM, Dexter, made a suggestion of having like a burning village, so I'm going to put that in there. And then I got some up on a cliff and like a ledge of rocks, and then a really dark Frazetta sky. So I'm just going to go into one little piece of info. Today is the last day. There's all my... Oh, and it's been a wonderful day. Coming to the end of my CROM Sell. 100 copies without Kickstarter. And as of the last day, August 31st, we have sold 70 of 100. And that is super awesome. So I want to thank everybody for supporting me. It's just been an amazing time. I took the challenge on, instead of doing a Kickstarter, just running it myself through CROM's own website, cromthebarbarian.com, giving them a whole bunch of good connection there. And the comic is still going. My version, this cover version, is going to be always for sale. It has an ISBN number assigned to it, and it will always be there. It's the guest covers that will be not available on cromthebarbarian.com. They will be available on those individual artists' either website or going through their Instagram account, or however it is that they choose to set it up that way. I can't thank them enough for the support they gave me. One of the major reasons I had these guys get involved was to keep me on point to get this thing accomplished. And I am so happy with this. So the artists and the covers, the alternate covers, David Molina, you can get to him through Instagram, Pariah Comics. If you're watching this after August 31st, 2024, you will have to go to Instagram /Pariah Comics. That's David Molina, to get a copy, if he still has them, because he'll be getting in compensation for doing the work. I'll be sending him copies to be able to sell on his own at whatever choice. Drawn Sword out of New Zealand. He's at Drawn Sword Graphics with an blogspot.com. Absolutely amazing work. You can see it here. 2-size pencil on A4 paper. Ken Landgraf, the Outlaw Legend. He's at Instagram /LandgrafKen. So just put the Ken at the end of the Landgraf, and you will be able to get a copy if they are still available through him, if he's sold all his. Adam Dodds out of North Carolina, an amazing line making, texture, patterns. Just love his work. Instagram /AJamDudes with a Z Doodles. or Adam Dodds. You'll be able to get him. And then Jason Schoonover also out of he's North Carolina is Adam, right? Yeah, North Carolina and then South Carolina. Jason Schoonover. Jason has his own website, schoon.art, www.schoon.art, and you can get one of his copies from there. But today is all about CROM.com, CROMthebarbarian.com, excuse me. Today is all about getting some inking worked on here. Last time I said I was going to start doing some white blocking out with some liquid masking fluid. But I'm going to do some more noodling, some cross hatching. Gola, hello, welcome. This is in my YouTube. Hey, how's it going? Just found your art channel. Artwork looks great. What's the story behind the comic? Great question. So this is Conan. My comic I'm working on is CROM the Barbarian. Now, if you know anything about Conan, he swears to a god named CROM. And so my whole story, the big old arc of it, is to take a bumbling jungle boy, kind of like a Tarzan, Khazar type, who stumbles through life in the beginning with his sister and finds a magic sword and goes off on some adventures. And these are the original 1950s Fox and John Glinta. But in the Warlock of Shardor, which is a right now 35-page prose illustrated by me, the last part 7, is where this bumbling young barbarian kid starts becoming the dark god. So there's something that happens, and I don't want to ruin it, something that happens in the story where CROM has to face some wizardry, some sorcery, if you will. And so this takes him off into the journey that ultimately leads him into being the dark and brooding god that this guy prays to or swears to when he's in a jam. Right now, you can get copies of the comic book at CROMthebarbarian.com. And we have really good international shipping because I use a print on demand, so don't be afraid. European, EU countries are all about $7, $9 to $10. Australia, New Zealand, England, UK, Ireland is about $6, maybe $6.50. US is like $6, Canada $6, somewhere around there. If you're outside of those territories, just go ahead and email me, and we will get you an actual shipping rate, by obviously getting your address from you. But I'm really anxious to get into some inking again. So this is the original pencils, my style, if you will, is a little edgy or blocky. You can kind of see. I also would throw this little squiggly line to separate the light from the dark, but that line really indicates that that's where it's going to be darkest and then come into being lighter. So it's that shadow casting and then the secondary light source. So, I'm just going to build a little bit more in the way of some hatching. And then I am probably going to end up getting some liquid mask on here, which is this blue stuff you'll see. But like I said, if you have questions, don't be shy in asking. That's why I'm here, is to share my enthusiasm for all things sword and sorcery, CROM, Conan. I was looking at some Iron Jaw by Atlas Comics. I don't know if anybody's ever seen Iron Jaw. What a crazy character that guy was. And also pretty cool history when it comes to comic books, but because the original founder and owner of Marvel, Martin Goodman, started that as a literal competitive company, Atlas Comics, again to the big two, his company, Marvel and DC. So pretty cool. But yeah, Barbarian Conan clones all over the place. Hit or miss. I take most of them as a hit. I don't think you can, be too critical on something like this kind of character. It's all just fun, comic book fun. So I'm that guy whose favorite movie out of all movies is Conan the Barbarian, 1982, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Watch it every birthday since I was about 14 years old, or whenever the VHS came in. Yes. As a matter of fact, I just purchased those two from John Michael Heller, Lucky Comics. Know him, hardworking guy. The artist, Jim Gullett. Hopefully I'm saying his name is right. We are in connection, so there's a really good chance that Jim will be doing a CROM story for my follow-up, which is going to be CROM Anthology. So I'll be working on a CROM Anthology. I'm already working on it, as a matter of fact, so there's no real waiting. I've got 2 stories in the mix. Yeah, a whole bunch of really good stuff. But those are good because those are also print on demand. Those CROM the Barbarians with written by, what is it? Yeah, John Michael Heller, and illustrated by Jim Gullett. So if you come across them, I just picked them up, just ordered them. I think I'm getting them either today or tomorrow from Amazon, and we'll be showing them off. And so CROM the Barbarian, technically speaking, is a character who is in the public domain. So I do not claim any ownership. I did start the ball rolling when it came to CROMthebarbarian.com. So I do own that, but I'm not playing a game where, you got to pay me a tax or a fee to do a character, your own version of CROM. Quite the opposite. Would love to play with more people in the CROM sandbox. So that's one of the reasons I put together my collection, which is just my story version. And then, get some people. I believe I got 2 right now, fans that have written some story material and even made some sketches. Dexter sent some. Trying to remember who else, but I think one of the biggest successes that I was able to make this month was really calling out and collecting together the CROM fandom. So 70 of them, 70 CROM fans have purchased the CROM Collected 2024 revised edition. And we should see some amazing stuff in the future. Ooh, I can tease this out too. Wait a second. Just got this in the mail yesterday. The Brutal Blade of CROM. This is fantastic. I'll be talking about this a lot down the road. So really good sword and sorcery escapism. So, yeah. And I believe there's 2 others. A CROM the Destroyer and then a CROM Christopher. I'm sorry, I just don't have that information in front of me. But if you do a search for CROM the Barbarian, I will come up. Michael Helmner will come up, and I think that's great, especially when it comes to public domain characters. So right now I am just putting in just some hatch marks to put another layer on both Conan the Nope, this is not Conan the Barbarian. This is Conan the Bodyguard. Yeah, love me some Conan clones, all Cloman, if you. Brack, yes. Thungor, yes. And Kothar by Gardner Francis Fox, who is the creator. 1950. I put in here. Here we go. The first Sword and Sorcery story, comic book for the comic books, was CROM the Barbarian, done by Gardner Fox and John Junta. 1950s, appeared in Out of This World Adventures pulp magazine. So it was a full color 3 comics pulp magazine. So it was really cool. I ended up buying those 2, and then the third story was in Out of This World Comics. I do believe it was issue 3. So I was able to get the actual printed material to be able to make high-res scans and include them in this book. And of course, they were full color, but I did the black and white just to keep the consistency and the printing costs down. So, for this, it's very affordable. Right now, I have it retailing at $13. That's 140 pages, black and white, magazine size. So. So just getting a another secondary layer of inking in here. See what's going on. You've got Instagram and YouTube Live. So this is the last day of my CROM Sell. 100 copies without a Kickstarter. I don't believe I'm going to get to the 100, but I do believe it was a great success. So I cannot thank everyone, including the guest artist that did their version of CROM. And we had them as variant covers, virgin variant covers, as I've called them. Limited edition, only for the month of August 2024. And as part of their compensation, I will be this week sending out copies to them so they would have, and if anybody is interested in the future of getting a hold, then it'll have to go directly to the artists. And that's part of my design, was to get people not only interested in what I'm doing, who I am, my version of CROM, but others. So, did you ever reach out to World of CROM? He promotes. Is that on Gola? Is that on World of CROM? Is that Instagram or YouTube? I don't know. I have not. I don't remember if I reached out to him. I reached out to a lot of people. Let me tell you, a lot of people. So I did get quite a few reviews. YouTube. Okay, I will definitely. I'm going to write that down. Thank you for that. World of Conan. World YouTube. Thank you. And I hope I'm pronouncing your name Gola correct. If not, maybe you can give me a better phonetic way of saying. But I do appreciate your support. Just even giving me that heads up about World of Conan. Ah, good, good, good. Yeah, so one of the things that I learned in my promotional efforts for CROM the Barbarian Collected was this live streaming. So I'll be doing this a lot more. I'm really enjoying myself. I don't know if you get the sense from me, but I do enjoy talking to myself. I'm good company. No, it's actually the opposite. I enjoy people just showing up randomly, asking questions, wanting to know more, contributing. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to start working on some background, the burning city, smoke going up into the gray skies and things. So here we go. I'm going to show you. My technique is a little different. Actually, my technique, I would categorize it as non-commercial, more fine arts. So, because I'm not afraid of the eraser. So, when it comes to this sort of cliff, this is just a big block, if you will. They call it a graphite stick, but it's just a flat. So this will give me some nice shapes for the cliff that they're on. Then I'm going to turn this upside down. I'm gonna just put in a burning city, medieval style stuff, walled city, but unfortunately is meeting tragedy. So this is our burning thing. And then, like I said, I'm going to be doing really gray because all that billowing smoke. Not bad. So there's our city. Probably going to have to do some forests, I think. That's pretty good. I'm liking that. There are also some Conan YouTube. We have Michael K. Vaughn. Yep. Stygian Dogs. Yep. I'm big fans of them. They were a bit tough on non-comic book, non-Conan work. I did send out some requests, my press kit, if you will. Did not hear back, and I completely understand. But if you fans out there would like to get there, I would love to get their feedback, because that's what growing is all about, is getting the feedback. Yeah. So, but who knows? This is just the beginning for me. I am not too worried about anything at this point. I'm just feeling really good about having sold 70 comics in a month, being basically a virtual unknown. So, yeah, that's the thing I've been noticing, is this booktube Gola. So I got to figure out what that's really all about. Is that like a hashtag thing? Hashtag booktube? Dexter, what's going on? I got to check out your email you sent me. I did get it. Thank you. And the sketches too, by the way. So very involved. Great idea. I mean, anything mixing time, space, aliens, and barbarians. I don't see how you get a loser out of that. All right. Okay. So now let me just. I had mentioned yesterday. So this is one of my favorite erasers, and you get to see. I buy these by the. Oh, I like it already. Your sketches were fantastic, Dexter. So no worries there. All right, Gola. So it's just people talking on YouTube. All right. I'm actually going back and reading all of the original Pope Sword and Sorcery, which at the beginning is Robert E. Howard, but another guy who I absolutely love his work, Clark Ashton Smith. And I really want to incorporate Clark Ashton Smith into my CROM world, because he has built in to his stories that cosmic horror, Cthulhu. Cthulhu was kind of tough nowadays, but the cosmic horror, that's what it is. So yeah, this is just a magic rub. One of my techniques or approaches and philosophy in drawing is you should draw negative. That means drawing back in white on black, or erase into pencil, just as much as you do the pencil, the black marks. So I'm just gonna, because I'm gonna start throwing in these are just some indications. Oh, we get more people jumping. Hey, John Molina, '06 Mercury. Me and my barbarian brother love our. Oh, perfect. Great. I'm glad you guys got your copies. John Molina. Yes, the sacrifice sword is mine as well, a favorite of mine. So this is great. Getting a great show up. You guys are making me feel really good because this is the last day of my the last day of my CROM Sell 100 copies without a Kickstarter. And so far, last day at this point, 70 of 100, which is really, really good. Conan the Barbarian after today is still going to be the day where you can get your copy. But at this point, as sales campaigns go, whoo, feeling good, feeling good. So, and this is just the beginning. So let me just take another second. I got to thank, because I could not have done it without 5 incredible guest artists that I reached out to. The first guy I reached out to was John's brother, David Molina, who is an up-and-coming star. When this guy is as big as Frank Frazetta and Frank Miller, he's going to have to change his name to Frank. I'm just kidding. But reached out to David. Hey, do you want to come play with some CROM ideas and do your own? And he did. And then we started bringing in, the second person was Drawn Sword from New Zealand. Been following him for years. I just figured, hey, man, I would love to get your version. He said yes. He's working on a great art book called Scoundrel's Dread. So we're hoping to see that. Of course, the Outlaw comic book legend Ken Landgraf had to get an original commission from him. Adam Dodds was both David and I's connection. We both were connected to watching on Instagram. Adam Dodds. I reached out and he said yes. And then Jason Schoonover, one of the hardest men working in comics. I'm telling you, man, some of the greatest stuff. Schoon art is basically how you can find him on Instagram and YouTube. Great stuff. Love his drawing and drawing podcast or live feed or live stream. But yeah, so if you want to get a copy, these will always be available. My cover, this is my cover, but those other 5 will be after today available only from the artists themselves. So I'll be sending copies out based on today's final numbers. So tomorrow morning I will wake up, there'll be final sales numbers, and then based on that will be how many issues I can afford to get out to the guest artists. So, all right, starting to get the groove here. Wish I could scan, but I don't think I'm going to be able to scan because I think being connected to both Instagram and YouTube probably really cut into it. Kind of like a scan of this, but I'm just going to keep trudging on. Or let me try. I'm going to try. So I'm going to leave you with, where did I put? It's over here. I'm going to leave you with pencils. These are the original pencils. Those red lines were ideas that I had for the Burning City and the Cliff. I did get a few red ballpoint pen marks on my my drawing that I need 13 by 19 I'm working on, but it's all right. It's just more material to work with. All right, this is working. get a nice fresh scan. I like to scan as I go. Basically so I can watch my journey. But also it never stops me from doing a variant version of my work from different stages as they're being scanned in. So one thing about these feeds, it's hard to see who's where, who's live, who's there. That's looking good. Good. All right. Well, that worked. So I got a fresh scan. And now comes the fun part. So liquid masking is primarily a watercolorist tool. Illustrators will use them too. I think what I was introduced to back in the day, because I love working with gouache, is Liquitex, Winsor Newton, a couple companies put out watercolor. It's called watercolor medium. It's an art masking. So it's a sticky glue-like substance that basically puts just put on your art, like drawing, and it basically keeps paint off of the white surface. So I came across, because painting is one thing, using a brush to get this on, but the other thing is to use, this is like a paint marker. So what I'm going to do, it looks like I'm messing things up, but really all I'm doing is I'm protecting areas that I would like to keep whiter once I get another fresh coat of it's called liquid graphite. It's another one of my secret ingredients. But like I said, I don't have a very commercial approach anymore. I've abandoned my commercial approach because, digital AI and all of that's basically, aping that so very well. Why continue? And this is not recently. I've been working this way for years, but AI is just another excuse to just be me. Just do it my way. Do not be afraid of people not liking it. And that's okay, because sword and sorcery isn't for everyone. It takes a very special type of person. Some Gola, I'm not him. I'm not him. But saw your other comics on there. Lucky Comics, Battle Loan, and the Bat. Those aren't mine. Those are probably all John's stuff. If you go to the Gardner Francis Fox Library, those are works. Those are old stories from the writer Gardner Fox that I plucked out of obscurity or near forgottenness. Digitized 156 books and got them on not only Amazon, but he has his own website too. I'm the custodian of the Gardner Francis Fox Library. trying to figure out this live streaming thing. Who's all here? It'd be really neat to see. I gotta get a bigger brush for these areas. Yeah. Now, I'm gonna have to grab me some water. I need water. I'll be right back. All right. And now we're gonna put some all this. I'm gonna go to the brush now. Oh, I think let's see what I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna actually do some brushing. Now here's the secret. If you want to get into liquid masking, this part, you're going to need. Uh-oh. Where are you? Gonna need soap, liquid soap. Might have to run downstairs and get some. So pardon me for abandoning you all again, but don't see it in my studio. I thought it was right here. Yes, well, that's part of what I'm all about, Dexter. Education, art education, showing there. All right, I'll be right back again. All right. So what I put in here is literally just dish soap from the kitchen sink, you know. So what it does is you basically smear it all over your brush. As a coat. Because if you don't, you're going to go through a brush every time you want to use this. And that can be costly. But all I'm going to do is, let's see. Now, there's a couple of areas, just want to make sure. They're more flat white surfaces than. And then some white billowing smoke. Coming out of the burning city. All right. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to give a little rock shape here. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. We're just going to have to let this dry. And then the thing is, that's why I needed the water. You can just like paint, go ahead and rinse out the soap and the masking fluid. And it's back. It gets a little, I'm going to have to get another brush soon. It's fraying a little bit. But as soon as that soap gets on there and then liquid masking comes together, but it gets down where the bristles and the tie meets there. So, all right. Well, we got to give this some time to dry before I put in the last step, which means I'm going to go on and talk about CROM the Barbarian again. Gola's got another question statement. What was your inspiration for this drawing? Any story or just off the top of your head? So, it's again, great question. This is a 2002 drawing pencil that I did. It was either a commission or just a drawing I did, and I posted it on eBay and sold it, so I don't have it anymore. But I was going through a folder. I was looking for some old Conan material of mine that I could just have the afternoon and play with, and thought, man, this is one of my favorite ones because Conan is in between mercenary gigs or even pirating. So he's not with a crew. He's on his own again. And the area of the world he's at is pretty quiet. There's no fighting among borders and countries and the such. So he unfortunately has to take a job as a bodyguard to this wealthy woman. Not a queen. I don't really feel she's a queen, but obviously she has all those queenie-like attributes. She's older, completely can't do anything for herself. And so here he's all armored out and ready for battle. And of course, maybe she's gone out into the wild and wants to get some sun or just basically be a pain in the ass. And of course, Conan is now turning to us or whoever is approaching and basically saying, you're not going to want to get any closer to, little Miss Lala here. So back off or not. But yesterday when I was working on this, Dexter came up with the idea of like a burning village or city back there. So as they're out on their day of, basically romping around, the city is sacked. So here he's dressed ready for battle, mercenary style, bodyguarding this woman, which he's being paid a decent wage. So he's got to stay committed to his contract. And so now it's all turning, if you will. So he's got the job. He's got to get her to safety, however that's going to plot out. But then he's also going to end up in, these could be mercenaries or army soldiers, whoever is sacking the city. This could be a patrolling squad that's come out this way, and they've just come in interacting. And so it's formulating. So it's in the oven, as they say. So I'm excited. Whether I take it any further than this right now is left to be said. All right. So when I do my, I got to get, this is a silk mat, which I use to keep water off of my table so it doesn't. But we're getting ready because I will be doing some washing, what I call gray washing. My technique is really basic, if you will. Like any kind of commercial comic book illustration. Pencil out something, ink it, basically lay in some lines, and then straighten these things out. Laying in some lines, and then liquid masking to preserve some of those white shapes and areas, and then wash it. And I also want to play with a little black and gray gouache, just to really, like I said, give a really good murky, dark, black, cloudy day. A summer picnic turned deadly. Picnicking with a mercenary. That's maybe what we should call it as a working subtitle. Picnicking with a mercenary. All right. Oh, that's what I have to do. All right. So I'm going to move this off. Just give it a little bit more drying time. Actually get in front of the fan. Leave this here. But today is the last day. August 31st, 2024. August 1st of 2024, I started a sales campaign called CROM Sell 100 copies without Kickstarter. And as today goes, I would need to sell 30 comics. Don't know how close I'll get to that. But as 70 of 100 goes, absolutely happy, absolutely pleased. Nothing terrible against Kickstarter, but what it really comes down to is all of my research about doing a Kickstarter for the first time and being unknown as I am. I have done Kickstarters years ago for fantasy art projects and for clients of mine. So I have a lot of familiarity with it, but I also had a reality that there's not a lot of sword and sorcery fans out there. We're very few. And so I was hoping to magnetically bring people towards me that were really into black and white magazines, sword and sorcery, Savage Sword of Conan, heavy metal. And 100 would have been way over the mark, I think, first time going out, but that's what you got to shoot for. But I got 70, and that's just amazing. And those 70 people now have purchased from CROM the Barbarian, which helps the attractiveness when people are searching for Conan the Barbarian, CROM the Barbarian, Barbarian comics, sword and sorcery comics on Google or what have you. Now they're going to CROM the Barbarian. And there's going to be a community there. If not already, there's a community there because 70 comics were sold this fine month of August in 2024. So with that being said, I had five guest artists come in, do pinups, and part of their compensation would be that they got copies of CROM Collected with their pinup as a virgin cover. We did sell these for the month of August after the 31st today. Starting tomorrow, they will no longer be available on CROM, thebarbarian.com, and you will have to go to the individual artists. And those artists are, and I cannot thank them enough for being a great sense of support and inspiration. So, Jason Schoonover, thank you very much. Drawn Sword from New Zealand, thank you very much. Amazing work. Pencil, this is 2 size people, A4, and just the values in penciling is just inspiring. And then if you think of maybe the antithesis of Drawn Sword, you have these amazing ink lines and patterns and textures, all from Adam Dodds. Adam Dodds, thank you so much for your contribution to Conan the Barbarian. Outlaw comic legend Ken Landgraf, had to get him. I had to get a commission from him, and man, what an amazing piece! I want to ink like Ken Landgraf series last week to help kind of promote what was going on and also promote Ken Landgraf and his work. New York City Outlaws, everybody from Floating World is a great one. And David Molina. David, thank you so very much for being a major part of the success of CROM the Barbarian. So in just the month of August and selling 70-ish, I can say at this point. I'm thinking maybe 1 or 2 more copies will sell by the end of the day. If not, we'll be fine. Like I said, totally fine with that. And let me just grab these again because I think we're almost dry. But CROMthebarbarian.com. Get over there, visit. There's subscriptions, so you can get a part of the newsletter. Once a month at least, I will be sending something out, giving updates on, and this is the big thing. I'm already working on the follow-up. The follow-up is CROM Anthology. Number 1, don't know if it's going to come out 2024. We'll see. I just laid out the magazine roughly at 200 pages, black and white, sword and sorcery goodness, my work, and a lot of contributors. As a matter of fact, Jason Schoonover and David Molina and I each are working. David and I and Jason and I are working on a short CROM the Barbarian story. So nice, good. Thank you, Gola. This is a scrapbook I put together, 350 pages of just stuff I've collected over the years, black and white. Not everything was black and white. I just wanted to see it in black and white. And I will either, as you can see, it's an inker's wish list. I love inking, so I might do a inking variant version of some of this work, Fredo Akala, or I'll be reaching out to the families or the estates to try to get permission or licensing if needed to do some reprint to keep this work out there and alive. I got some more black and white Fox work. This is Gardner Fox's like black and white magazine work that he did in the 70s. He left DC Comics in 1968. So I'm going to be getting that stuff in. And then there's some what I call CROM adjacent work. So this is an old 1940s comic called Dart Daring that I'll be converting to a CROM comic, trying to keep the style, the golden age style alive, comics and then this is it's called Amazona. Yes, absolutely. That's exact Amazonia, which there's 3 of these stories that I'm going to tweak where this is going to be CROM's sister Lala. And CROM's sister Lala is a big piece of the puzzle for CROM becoming a dark god. So there's some great CROM material that I want to make sure his voice is kept alive and in there. This is a great Will Minio. He's going to be one of the individuals that I reach out to because I want to do. I've already started, as a matter of fact. Here's the first sneak peek. Doing my own ink variant of Will Minio's CROM from 1972. So got to reach out to him this week and see if he wants to play in the sandbox. Then there's some other like just strange stories that I just feel like should get, like this story will get reprinted at some time. I don't know if it's going to be CROM Anthology 1, maybe 2, but it'll definitely see the light. I just feel like people need to read this story. It's what I would classify as bonkers. So good escapist fun. So I am well on the way of getting into CROM Anthology, and I'm looking forward to building a community around CROM the Barbarian, and looking for support, looking for people to play in the sandbox. So one of the big things I also want to point people to is there is a link inside CROM the Barbarian that I think I'm calling B-Vlog Update. And what that means is blog vlog update, which every week one comes out where it's myself and another CROM Barbarian enthusiast comic book work artist. And we're working on something and we're sharing. So, you know, there's plenty to get involved in, and there's nothing stopping anybody from being a part of this and having some fun. Like I said, I've got 2 individuals that have already sent me stuff. Dexter Jones is one of them. I have to spend some time right after this recording and look at and respond. But the most important thing I'm after, number 1, is building a nice CROMmunity. If you heard me, CROMmunity around this fun character. And so this is the last day. From here on out, only this copy will be available on cromthebarbarian.com. All other virgin cover, guest artist versions will be you'll only be able to have the opportunity to get them from the artists themselves. So with that being said, I'm going to do my final brush into with some graphite, water-soluble graphite. So this is all feeling good. Yeah, I'm feeling good about this. All right, so this is a piece of sandpaper cut and taped into this little white, dish container thing, plastic. And then this is, I don't know where the other one went to. Where did everything go around here? It's all right. All right, and so this is a art graphite, water-soluble graphite. It's pretty obvious what's going to happen. What I do is I use the sandpaper to make some, shavings, and then I just grab this big old brush and some water. Size the paper. So this has to get flipped over. Because you got to do both sides. When you water something down, you wash something down in art, you're going to want to do both sides. They call it sizing. It keeps it from curling. It's really what it does. Okay. Flip this over. So another great Conan artist is Simon Beasley. And he's one of my top, oh gosh, I would even go out to say top 3 artists. You know, I just can't get enough of his work and his amazing attitude. So that's all I'm doing here is just trying to create some nice textures. I'm doing this sideways only because the paper itself, man, this is getting good. I know I said I wanted to get some black and white gouache in here, but I think I'm going to hold off right now. I think the bigger part of it's going to be what I've got going right at this moment, which is pretty darn good. The reason I use the water-soluble graphite instead of the like a ink wash is its ink wash has a tendency, at least the way that I deal with it, to puddle. And what I mean by that is that it can get trapped in areas on your page and just sort of puddle. This gray graphite, it just has an excellent flatness to it. So I really like the technique and style it gives. So and once it's dry, there's believe it or not a little bit of give in the way of erasing. So techniques. Now, not to toot my horn, but I've been at this since 1989 is when I went to art school. And I did emerge from art school and get into commercial art. But I was trained right from the beginning to be conscious of not staying stale. In other words, giving yourself the ability to try things out, learn things, you know, and explore. So for that, I do have to thank them for that education. And you know, I've done pretty all right by now in the standards of, you know, making it as an artist. So, but look, I had a wonderful time. Thank you everybody for joining me. As much as I'd like to spend the day doing this, I need my voice for other things during the day, and I do get a bit scratchy. But thank you for coming out. If you came out for the live event, thank you so very much. If you're coming at this totally afterwards, comments, you've made comments, I'll definitely get to them. Usually within 24 hours, I'm always checking my accounts. So if you have questions out there, I'm totally connected with that. But, you know, I really just have to say and can't say enough. Thank you for everybody who came and showed support. Whether you bought a copy, just stopped by and said hi when I was doing live drawing, or made comments on my post, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. But it was this month of August 2024 was a huge success for me. And it's just the beginning. And I really could not have done it without the guest artists, David Molina, Adam Dodds, Ken Landgraf, Drawn Sword, Jason Schoonover. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Have a great one. And get those old comics out, or get a new looking old comic. CROM the Barbarian. CROMTheBarbarian.com. Take care. Thank you, Dexter. I'm going to go straight after this to checking out your email and getting back to you, okay? Thank you for taking the time and energy and sending that to me.